Oh,
Oh,
looks like
it's
they
on
got
me
you
today.
making the introduction
It's
today.
usually on tattoo.
I know. I think they have Anna. Anna, I think it's on me to
Tattoo
start this off.
usually says
Hey,
something.
there we go. Well, I welcome back. This is the second of 2026 live Q&As with Miles Franklin. I am your co-host, Kevin Hauser, aka Tattoo. And of course, with me is the infamous, the mysterious, the genius, Mr. Andy Schectman.
Thank you.
Andy, welcome back.
Good to be here.
It's happy Martin Luther King Day.
Happy Martin Luther King Day to you too, my
I
man.
don't think that either of us planned on working nearly as much as we both did today. I think today was much busier than we both anticipated, and I think that we can attribute that a little bit to the futures market last night. As we checked out last night, when I think we were all unsure whether or not the actual futures market was going to be open last night. There was a little bit of confusion, but it did. And when it did, we saw silver futures top yet another milestone. We are now sitting just at around $95 for silver per ounce on the futures market, and on the spot market, we're sitting just at around 94. So congratulations to all those people that are holding the long side.
Strong fingertips hanging on.
Yeah.
Ain't seen nothing yet, though, because like I think, Kevin, that that this is a market where, in particular, the price of silver it's finding equilibrium between the failing paper price system and the physical reality. That this is a game where physical reality never mattered, but for a very small percentage, and now that is running headlong into a paper pricing system that has always been fugazi, as a word that you helped me with along the way.
Yes.
Their tricks of dumping late at night, their tricks of raising margins. It's running headlong into low liquidity, into backwardation, into exploding lease rates, physical shortage and desperation. I mean, it is because, like, for example, you look at this TD Bank, and TD Bank, these idiots, Canadian bank, they sent a letter out to all their people. They're saying, yeah, silver's going to collapse. We think it's topped. And as a result, we're going to put on a short. And it's going into the 40s. They just got stopped out at 92. And I think the point that is important to make is that any bank that would be stupid enough to go naked short into a market that is in backwardation, where they're paying a premium for it right now, is either really stupid or they're just forced to do it to mitigate the losses on their books. And I think it's important. You keep hearing this from other people, but I think it's very true that this is a repricing. This is a market that has never been allowed to spread its wings, to find its true self, to find price discovery. This is not a temporary peak. This is repricing in real time. I do believe that.
And, just to get back on the topic, what you're talking about with the banks, it's one of those things that we talk about. Where's the risk management? Where are the people at these banks that are looking to mitigate risk as opposed to putting the banks in jeopardy of that risk? And again, these are the banks, these are the institutions that are supposedly doing things to get a higher yield for their clients' monies as opposed to suffering more losses. So it's one of those things that, again, why I'm a little bit skeptical of holding too much in any one bank, because again, we don't know what they're doing.
And they didn't do it because they guessed wrong. That's for damn sure, because they had come out and wrote a report saying that the physical conditions are such that could create some real chaos in the market. This wasn't a technical event, as far as I'm concerned. What it was probably they were forced to do it because of a huge position. They thought they could mitigate the pain. This is how accidents start, by making a stupid trade like this, and quietly they got stopped out. But the old tricks, like I was saying, dumping in the dead of the night when liquidity is lowest, prices go down, raising margins. None of this stuff is working anymore, and it always did. So when you say something like this is a strategic repricing, it feels like it, not only because the war, it's not speculation and leverage like we saw in 2011. Therefore, when they did raise the margin accounts, it killed the rally. This is sovereign nations running to it. And we've talked about the critical mineral designation. We've talked about the exports out of China, all that. But also, there was just a law passed by Trump saying that within the next 180 days, all of these critical minerals will be given a governmental price floor underneath it. Now, that has a lot in my mind to do with incentivizing domestic mining, because if the all-in cost on silver right now, they say, I was doing an interview with Peter Spina today, and he said that by his numbers, it looks like the all-in cost for silver mining break even is about $40. Getting there. So you have to have a whole bunch of room in there to incentivize profit motive these companies, because mining is a very expensive endeavor.
Yeah.
And to start up a mine from scratch is tough.
I mean, in this day and age, I mean, you would think that people would just buy an existing that they can, because like you said, it is very expensive. And one of the things that I know that you weren't able to come to dinner last night. I was fortunate enough to have one of my closest friends who is a former monster trader, as you know.
I like him. He's a good guy.
Great guy. And he brought one of his very close friends. And
did he bring Lebs with him?
He didn't.
Oh.
But it was another guy that he used to trade with, who actually is a very, very big in Bitcoin. And I'm going to get to that because that's the whole moral of the story. But these are two guys that traded from some of the biggest banks, Goldman Sachs, and then one that was just acquired, BTIG. And they were talking about it, and they said, wow, silver looks like an unbelievable short. And of course, I had to step in and just say, all right, I used to be on the other side of the desk. Just tell me why. He said, well, it's just had an insane run. I said, okay, but tell me why it's a great short. But what outside of you looking at lines on a graph makes you say it's a great short? Just because something goes up doesn't mean that it's a great short. And then I got into, of course, the fundamentals and the fact that it's been held down and suppressed for so long, namely 45 years. And this is basically that coil that's just ripping to go. Why now? Why? I mean, listen, you could have said the same thing at 45. You'd be getting carried out.
Yeah.
And my buddy Brian said, you're right. I'm not getting in front of this freight train. He said it would actually be ludicrous to do so right now.
Yeah.
Because it might come down, but it might go up to 150 before it actually does. I mean, who knows? We don't know. But again, I think that a lot of the times you have to look at things, and this guy's a very, very big Bitcoin guy.
Well,
and
let me address that.
Yeah.
There are people that are well-read, they read the wrong shit. We talk about that all the time,
No
right?
doubt.
And he is well-read and very successful, and I like him a lot. And you don't get to his level, and I know the level he's at.
Yeah.
Without knowing your stuff, right? But guys like him, even, they're trained not to see the things that I see, right? Because they're trained to look at the things that the mainstream looks at. They'll look at charts, they'll look at ratios, they'll look at headlines, they'll look at ETF flows, but they're not looking at the deliveries. They're not looking at the lease rates. How much does it cost to borrow this stuff? Currently, the lease rates are 8 or 9%. They're normally 1/4%. That signals amazing stress, coupled with backwardation. Backwardation says, no, I want it right now. I want it right now. I don't trust you in the future. They're not looking at who's shipping the metals out, who's taking delivery of it. In December, 68 million-ish ounces of silver delivered into COMEX, the largest December delivery in the history of the COMEX. But do they notice that this has been going on for 15 months? I've been screaming about it. Where's Jim Cramer? Where's CNBC? Where's Fox? Where are they?
Yeah.
Why aren't they saying who the hell is doing this? And that is why a very seasoned, successful trader looks at it and says that these are markets that have never found true price discovery. And by the time the system admits this stress, this positioning opportunity, it's gone. And they're not going to see the stress. This isn't a peak. This is repricing. And peaks happen when supply catches up. The supply is so far behind. Supply is disappearing. And once the paper market loses credibility, like it is right here and right now, Kevin, price won't just rise gradually. It will slingshot. And I think that's the issue. It has lost credibility on many levels. So I think that for a guy to say that, I get it, because it is overbought, technically maybe, but technical analysis in a market that has been suppressed and rigged for a very long time, and I don't care what anyone says, it has been.
I agreed.
And markets don't behave the way that these markets do. Like when you see a knockdown at 3 a.m. when there's no volume and the traders in New York are asleep, and they dump millions of shares on there to create an effect when there's the least amount of liquidity, period. That's done as a drive-by shooting to guarantee the worst settlement. These are the kind of things that Ryan doesn't see.
And to touch on what you said, because if you remember, just going back to last week, Thursday, going into that Friday over a long weekend, they knocked down the futures almost $3-4 that Thursday night going into Friday's session. And then Friday morning, when the markets actually opened, it opened down, I think, 3 and change, but we rallied back to almost on the flat line for Friday's close. Maybe, I don't even know if we might have even been up a little bit on Friday, but it was a non-event.
They can't keep it down anymore. Listen to the way TD frames this.
Yeah.
They said, we enter a short spot silver anticipating a dramatic reversal in prices as silver's devilish blow-off top comes to completion. And so they entered that short position in early January, betting the price would fall towards 40 an ounce.
Yeah.
They placed stop losses around 92 to limit losses if the price went the other way, and it did. And so it was triggered. They had to cover that short at a loss. Here's another one I want to bring up real quick, unless you have something to say.
No. We'll have to get to it, because I know I would say half of my day today was spent on amount of phone calls that I've gotten with regard to, hey, this is the first time that we've pretty much broken 50 on the GSR.
Oh, it's 49.
Yeah, and we have to get into it a little bit, but we'll get into that after.
I just want to say one other thing. We've talked about repricing of gold, and we've mentioned James Rickards, 24,000. We've mentioned Mike Maloney, 10,000. We've mentioned a lot, but here's a new one, Van Eck. Van Eck is the big mutual fund company, and I want to read something to you. It says, what if gold replaced the U.S. dollar as the reserve standard? Now, I have been saying for the last almost year that I believe they want to softly default on the U.S. dollar. They want to default on the reserve status in order to not only pay down the debt, but bring back manufacturing.
Yeah.
Okay. So it says, in this paper, our emerging markets bond team values gold by matching central bank money liabilities to gold reserves, implying a $39,000 to $184,000 per ounce spot price. They use it in 2 examples. They use MO. Now, MO is something you don't hear about a lot. It's usually M1, M2. Yeah. MO would be the amount of cash that's immediately available, right? And it is money liabilities that would, I guess it would just be cash in the system right now. Just immediate cash. Divided by gold reserves is 39,000 per ounce is what they would say. But using it says, using a sample of major global central banks' MO money liabilities divided by their gold reserves and weighted by their share of global daily FX turnover, we calculate the price of gold that equalizes MO is 39,210. However, if we use central bank M2 money liabilities divided by gold reserves, it is $184,000 per ounce weighted by daily FX turnover. The point I want to get at is here you have a company that is not in the business for selling physical gold or talking about it every day, saying that you could see $184,211 price of gold. Now, that would go hand in hand with my belief. Now, if you believe Judy Shelton, he says we're going to back the back end of the bond market with gold. So you sell a $20 million bond redeemable in gold in 30 years, and you sell it at $5,000 an ounce gold, and it goes to $184,000. You just 30 times less the amount of gold that you need to deliver in 20 years.
That's right.
So it would follow, and the rising of gold to that level would massively devalue the dollar. You have a devalued dollar. You have the ability to have not only credibility with your bond market, but you have to give less at the end, no upfront borrowing costs. I mean, it's all starting to come together, the things that I've been talking about. It's almost kind of scary.
It is.
And to see them a company like this, a fund, talk about this, I found it very interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to some questions because we
Yep.
definitely have to cover some of this GSR swaps
Yep.
because we're getting inundated with calls, and of course, our trading desks have been nuts over the last. I mean, I think every broker was pretty much hands on deck all weekend, taking care
I
of
hope
business.
they
So
were.
let's just get to a couple here. Let's see here at Jap-P4B. Wants to know, is there going to be any significant pullback in equities in general, or will this market melt up trend persist for a prolonged time frame? China is experiencing a lot of deflationary pressures.
Well, he's talking about equities,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I think there should be caution with equities just simply because you have 7 stocks holding up the other 493.
I think it's very rich. I think it's very
It's rich. There's very little. Look, there's a disconnection between Main Street and Wall Street. Main Street is having a hard time. This is the K-shaped economy,
Yep.
the Cantillon effect. Those closest to the money supply who own assets have gotten exponentially wealthier. And the people who have no assets have gotten exponentially poorer because the cost of living and the things that we need are eroding daily living expenses. And it's something I don't like very much, to be honest with you. I think it creates a lot of divisiveness and separation between those who got it and those who don't. But that's exactly what I think this rally has been about. The wealthy who own the stocks, the wealthy that own the equities, the wealthy that own the commodities, the wealthy that own assets have gotten wealthier. And if you look at, does this economy support these types of valuations, I would argue they don't. And maybe that's why we've been seeing so much in the way of investor insider selling. I can't see it continuing to rally at this level. But with that being said, with inflation and the effort to suppress interest rates, markets can stay irrational longer than we would expect, and longer than those shorting it can stay solvent. So not sure how that all ultimately plays out in the near future.
I haven't seen the question yet, but I know that there's going to be plenty on here about it because it was all the talk over the weekend. A lot of rumor that the Mint had halted production and was increasing the price of the Eagles threefold. And I saw the Twitter post, and I listened to a little bit of the AI Asian guy right away. And the first thing that I heard was that, number one, there was a wire that was sent to do something on Saturday. And before I even listened to anything else, I said, time out. I said, wires don't happen over the weekends, number one. So that was the first red flag that I had. Two, with regard to these Silver Eagles, with the picture that was put on Twitter, I just want to let everybody know the picture that was put up there was actually a proof Silver Eagle.
Well,
and I want you to kind of give a little bit of a tutorial as to the difference between Eagle proof and what that really means.
But there's something else there to it. And I talked about this on Liberty and Finance today, and I kind of didn't know how to answer it. I do and I don't. Okay. So if you look at the Mint picture, what you will see is not only is it a proof coin, but it's also an uncirculated coin. Now, commercial strike coins are the ones that come in tubes of 20 and boxes of 500, the green boxes. Those are only sold through dealers, okay? You can't go to the Mint site and buy it. You can go to the Mint, usmint.gov, and buy proof coins and their Mint-issued uncirculated coins. Now, the uncirculated coin was also $179. Now, what's the difference? I own some of both. The commercial strike are in the tubes, in the boxes. The proof coins, if you take a blank Silver Eagle before it's a Silver Eagle, it's called a planchet, just a blank disc, right? The proof coins are struck 4 times or so for greater definition after being polished under an industrial buffer to see your reflection, put in a velvet box, and in this case, sold for $80 over its melt. The commercial strike coin is struck once and put in tubes of 20 and boxes of 500. Now, the uncirculated coin, in my mind, is very much the same as the commercial strike, although it comes in, instead of the velvet box that goes into another box, you just get another box without the velvet box. And inside of that small box that you get says US Mint on it. It's usually blue. There'll be a little plastic insert that will fit the uncirculated coin, and it probably comes in a capsule. It's not proof and it's not commercial strike, it's uncirculated. big frickin' deal. It's as dumb as buying as putting lipstick on a pig. The proof coin, okay, cool. I mean, they're nice. They make cool gifts, shiny and quite awe-inspiring. If you've never seen one, it's beautiful work of art. And in the proof version, it's, you know, it's amazing how beautiful it can be, and the detail, and it's quite startling how wonderful it is. But not something that should be the bulk of your holdings. You want commercial strike. You don't want to pay an $80 premium for a proof coin.
You want to put that premium into more metal.
Right.
Is what you want to do.
So in any case, the U.S. Mint did not do that, but there's a lag sometimes in their figuring stuff out. Dunnigan was talking about, there was all sorts of people last week talking about the fact that you could buy proof coins on the U.S. Mint website for $99. And that's true, you could.
Yeah.
And then this happened. They're like, oh, wait a second. Then they halted everything and went in and repriced it all. And now it's 179. So anyways, the Silver Eagles have not moved up to 179. But I'll tell you one thing, they're over $100 everywhere in North America and across the globe. So we are now across, which I can't even believe, we're over $100 a piece on Silver Eagles just in regular commercial strike coins.
And just to give a little bit of insight, I believe that we actually Shanghai ended the session today at just over 103 on their spot market.
Right. There's been this arbitrage, this gap of about anywhere from $8 to $10 for a while now. This is incentivizing the traders to buy paper in New York and sell it for metal delivery in Shanghai. It's called arbitrage. They're like, come here, give me your silver. I'll pay you extra money for it. And that's what they're doing. And then it ain't coming back. And that's, you know, it's short-sighted, but I get it. It's a pretty big win for the traders that have the ability to do it. So, yeah, I think you'll continue to see that spread between Western paper price and the real price.
And you know, I spoke to Matt for quite a while today and a couple of the other traders, and you know, I asked really about if they foresee some of the buyback premiums changing, because this is unlike what we've
I've never
seen
seen
in history.
anything like it before. It makes me feel almost dirty.
Yeah, but you know, we don't make these buyback rates.
But people don't know that.
I know, and that's why we come on here and we continuously say that we don't make these buyback rates, because we don't want people to think that this is us.
Why don't you try and explain it, and I'll fill the gaps.
Yeah, and you know, he said that right now it's the Wild West. He said we have backwardation.
Which would support higher prices, though. It doesn't make sense.
And then we have the lease rates, and then we have the carry costs. There's so many.
It's the carry costs.
It's a huge carry cost right now. It's the lease rates.
So why don't you explain what carry costs are to people?
You're much better and eloquent in doing so than I am. You've been doing this for so long.
A carry cost is the cost of money. If you want to have a big inventory, not everyone has the money to do it. Some do, some don't. Those that don't have to go borrow money from either a bank on a line of credit or from, you know, a big entity that is willing to front you the money in the industry at a high level. You know, what is the cost to borrow money now? 6, 7, 8%? I don't even know. The point of it is that there's a cost of carry. The cost of insurance has gone up exponentially. The cost of shipping has gone up exponentially. I will tell you, in all my career, I've never seen it like this. Never. And to show you how different it truly is, the big online companies who I respect and have never heard a bad word about are bidding $9 and $10 over the price, 11, 12 over the price to buy it, and bidding as much as $3 or $4 or $5 back of spot.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I have to just interject, because at last look, when one of my clients called me and says, well, that seems ridiculous. What are your competitors doing? I mean, I was shocked.
Well, I was talking Silver Eagles. I know where you're going.
Yeah, I was shocked to learn 100-ounce bars, 11 under spot.
See, but that just destroys the integrity of the industry.
I get it.
And I don't do that if I have the ability not to. I don't understand it, to be honest with you, because it doesn't make sense to me. I need to get to the bottom. I promised Dunnigan I would get to the bottom of it.
I think I do understand it a little bit when it comes to them, because I think that a lot of those companies, they don't hedge the way that we do. So when they're actually going out and they're buying at 11 under, they are actually probably taking the position to go long, because that they know that they have such a a big runway with 11 under spot to either resell it or to hold it and profit on their own, that does make sense to me. If they don't hedge a position the way that we do, then that makes sense. But that's not how we do things.
There's a lot of risk in this industry right now that was never there before. And, you know, when you talk about the cost of having an inventory, where, you know, when I remember silver at $3.50, $4 an ounce, where a tube of Silver Eagles was, you know, what, $800, and now a tube of Silver Eagles is what,
2,000.
yeah, and so that doesn't even seem right. 800. It would have been less than that.
No, it's less than 800. 2 times 20 is $400.
Yeah,
is what we're talking about.
Well, yeah, with $4 times 20 would been
$120 for your tube back then.
Yeah, and that's the point. And so, I mean, a tube of Gold Eagles, even when, you know,
we used to be able to ship out 2 tubes in a box.
Yeah, now a tube of Gold Eagles is getting expensive. It's you know, ridiculous.
I mean, look, and you know,
it's almost $100,000.
You know that I'm very meticulous and I don't like to make mistakes. Last night, as I was on my way out for dinner, and guy called me in a panic, saw that the futures open, wanted to lock in that we had been talking about, and I went on to our portal and I did it, and then I was eating dinner. Literally, I had which Trattoria Romano, I had the bolognese in my mouth, and all of a sudden it hit me. Holy shit! They won't even ship a 1,000-ounce bar anymore. Our insurance will not. They won't.
They have to.
They won't.
Well, how people get it back?
Can't. That one distributor wouldn't do it. So I had to pivot. I literally called Matt right there and then. I said, I screwed up. I put this on your order. Didn't mean to. Take it off.
He didn't care. The price went way up.
No, he didn't care. He was fine. And then, of course, I called Rob and I said, Rob, I need you to do this. He said, no problem. And I had the 2 rates and that's it. But it's gotten to a point where it's not just metal. People don't understand. I understand you don't want to get and be in receipt of 12 boxes. It's not our choice. We don't have choices.
The costs
anymore.
Are getting really prohibitively expensive to run a business of this nature. You're talking a massive bankroll.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that everyone understands.
It's crazy how fast we move through cash.
And I want to make sure that people realize that with Miles Franklin, we are not in the risk business. We take plenty of risk because, as Andy has said numerous times, we hedge every position coming in and out of our company and organization. But the one thing that we can't hedge is premium.
Right.
And right now we're in a very, very fast moving volatile premium market. So that's enough risk for us where we don't have to take positions on metals, which I think some of these other dealers do. And frankly, they could get carried out. We know that. On the wrong side of it, as we see with the banks, when you're on the wrong side of things, it doesn't take much to get completely decimated. Wow. So let's get to a couple of questions. And then we have to start talking a little bit, at least about the GSR falling below 50.
Yep.
All right, let's go with Victoria 4357 wants to know, is it true that our government is now going to hoard silver?
I believe so, yes. It is considered critical. They just came out and said price floors underneath the critical minerals, government mandated. When you talk about national security and the realization that indeed this will, they now view platinum and silver as critical to the infrastructure of the country, to the national security of it. Yeah, they will. And they don't have any really, or they haven't had any. They went through their entire strategic stockpile years ago. They've had to go into the open market to make Silver Eagles for years. So, you know, I ask people who the hell stood for delivery for over 100 million ounces of silver in the last 40 days off of COMEX. You know, you got to ask yourself that. But this has been going on for 15 months, and it really bothers the hell out of me that there's no mainstream coverage of this. Like, those that claim to have integrity in journalism, no one is saying, I mean, it's got to be me who screams, where the hell is the media saying, who's doing this? Every single month now for 15 months, billions upon billions upon billions, I don't know how many times I can say it, as of gold and silver are coming into COMEX. You talking, if a mint box of Silver Eagles is 500 ounces, weighs 42 pounds, who stood for delivery for 68 million ounces in December, the largest December delivery since 1974, inception of the COMEX. And since then, over 40 million ounces have stood for delivery in January, which is a non-delivery month. So you got over 100, almost 110 million ounces for sure that have been delivered already. Now, it doesn't mean it all leaves COMEX. Some does, some doesn't. But it's still being delivered, meaning someone paid for it and said, I don't want paper, I want the real thing. And ask yourself that. You're into the billions of dollars. And every month this keeps happening. I argue in large part it is the government through the Exchange Stabilization Fund, where they don't have to tell Congress about it because it is for national security. That would be my guess, amongst other maybe sovereign wealth funds or Teslas or Samsungs or Sony, or our government acting on behalf of national security.
This is a good one I want to point out, and it happens to be from Victoria again, but she writes that APMEX has now disclosed out to the retail buyers in smaller amounts that minimum is a $500 order. Where does Miles Franklin fit in that scenario? Will there be a limited minimum? There was also another one of the major online dealers that I believe said that they would not be servicing purchases under $10,000.
It's APMEX. That's the next question right here.
Yeah. So it was APMEX that put the $10,000 on their buyback, and they want to know where we stand. So we don't have currently, we never have, and we do not continue to have any minimum, as well as on the buybacks. The only thing that I can tell anybody when it comes to purchasing is just know that there is shipping charges and some other fees that might come along with purchasing. So regardless, I would never want to, turn any sales away from Miles Franklin, but you might be, depending on the size of the order, better off by going to your local coin shop, depending if it's that small of an order. Same way as when we tell people that if you're looking to roll over an IRA and it is call it $15,000 or $12,500, and it has nothing to do with Miles Franklin, we just don't think it's in your best interest because the fees of that account annually will start to eat away towards your principal. And I just think that they're too great when it comes to that $12,500, $15,000 mark.
So funny because, a few years ago, 12, 15,000 would have got them enough metal to make it worth it.
Right.
Now
it's 100 ounces of silver.
Bigger numbers start to distort, I think, what is prudent. Look, we don't have an order minimum. We want to help as many people as possible. I think they say that because people are very frightened and concerned that, I don't have my package yet. Well, you just paid for it 30 minutes ago. And when you have this kind of demand and volume where people don't understand what it's like. I mean,
what also?
I'll put it to you this way. We play in a Friday game, and I think Kevin isn't going to play in the next couple of weeks because of it. I fortunately have the ability to kind of tune things out for a few hours. And it's like the only time of the week when I can, because I work so hard the rest of the time preparing, and I still have, over 1,000 clients on top of running the business and trying to have a life and preparing for all the podcasts I do. I set aside Friday and just simply try and set it aside best I can.
Kevin, I'm giving you stink eye right now.
Well, I know he is, but you don't have to do all the prep work I do either.
Well, look, the truth of it is, and Friday was
all the guys are like, "Holy shit, he's on the phone nonstop."
Yeah, and I was actually sort of roundabout, kind of kicked out, of the Friday game, and or I like to say I pulled myself out because, again, truthfully so, and I understand it's not pleasant necessarily being with someone whose phone is ringing and then ringing and then ringing every single shot, every single hole, and me apologizing, me offering, Stu with his hair to pay for his buy-in. It was frustrating. It was probably one of the most frustrating days I've had.
It's not even fun.
It's not, and it's funny. I instinctively today or yesterday, I don't remember which one, answered yes to Friday, and I think I have to this evening pull back out because I know with the next question that we're going to get to, and based on today what I've seen and the calls that I already know that I have to make for tomorrow, I think the Friday could be the same, if not worse, of a shit show than
I don't
last
think
Friday.
people understand quite what it's like. I
No.
mean, you have to be around us for a little bit. And I've done this for, it'll be 36 years next month. And there are only very few times where I've seen it to that distraction, that level of distraction, working 18 hours a day. During the pandemic, I remember my wife calling me at 4 a.m. saying, "Where the fuck are you?" I mean, I'm sorry for using language. I apologize. I want to get the point across. She's like, "Where are you?" And it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and she's probably thinking, you're at a strip club or something. Like, no, I am still at work.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know what kind of strip clubs were going on during the pandemic, but I say that tongue in cheek because I was doing that.
Yeah,
and
well.
and that was before I was working from home. But that is what it has been like by and large since 2020 in this industry. Now, there are times where, you think, geez, is it slowed down forever? And then you see a moment like this where
there's not even a time to breathe.
No, there isn't. And I think people, I don't know why we went down this path, but I want you to understand that that's why you're seeing all the companies put disclaimers on their website saying, please be patient.
Yeah.
No one is stealing your money. We're just being inundated with transactions.
And I'm going to ask for the same. I'm going to. Yeah, so Jana just brought it up, and I just want to point out that is true. I mean, we're going to ask for the same grace that many of the other companies do, and that you provide us, just the grace to get your metals out, do what we have to do to get them. Remember, we're not in a business that we can just bring another 10, 15, 25 people in to our processing facilities. We're dealing with millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, a lot of them being your money that you're sending in and that we're trying to get out to you. We need to make sure that they're in safe hands. Every one of our people gets background checked and, certified and bonded and insured. And all of that has to be done so that we can get the quality of labor that we need for our business. It's just the bottom line. So, you just have to give us a little bit of time. We're doing the best we can under the circumstances. These are unprecedented
times.
I think
it's because we make them package everything naked out of security issues.
Like Pookie in New Jack City.
Because,
that's right.
You can't be wearing clothes and packing because,
All right.
Well, actually, there's a funny story about a Royal Canadian Mint employee who got caught shoving a kilo bar of gold in his rectum.
Wow, that's
and they caught him. Now, think about that for a moment.
I'm thinking about the kilo. I know the size of a kilo,
right.
And I know the size of a
rectum.
That's rough.
Yeah. Or it's kind of intriguing in a weird sort of way.
It's well, yeah. Can you imagine
like
the emergency room? Yeah. Can you imagine the emergency room X-ray of that thing? The only thing I would say is it going to be like a poured bar? Is it going to be a cast bar? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So listen, let me get to the question because this one is the one that's been driving everybody nuts for the past 72 hours. I'm going to bring it up. At Pop and Puff wants to know, they said, hey, Jake, do you think it's a good time to swap a little silver for some gold? And I'm going to hand it over to you based on what you and I basically had our closed door meetings this weekend, because we knew that we were going to go, or we were just at 50. And today I think we are sub 50. We're now in the 40s. I think we're about 49. And I know that you and I had discussed that beginning first layer of the onion being peeled off.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hand it to you.
We've been talking about this since 2020, right? When the GSR got to 120 to 1 or so in March, I think the highest ever. It's held its line a lot longer than I thought it would. For all the people who bought at that level, it's a double right now. Now, what will distort that is what we were talking about earlier and the low bid prices on silver. But please understand, you will get the best bid price in the country from us on doing these swaps. But bid prices, we don't control. Look, if I can buy the stuff back in the secondary market at $4 under, why would I pay more than that, right? The fact that it is at these levels is very, very strange to me. It is an anomaly, maybe more than anything I have ever seen. So it will distort it a little bit, but the general theory is correct. We should be thinking about making that silver to gold swap pretty soon. And one way to do it would be to start to edge your way in, cost average. If you have metal in a depository, one of our Brinks facilities perhaps, or the Dakota
Or
Depository,
IRAs for that matter.
or if you have IRAs in particular, now would be the time to start doing some of it. In the IRA, you have no tax issues
Right.
at all. You have no storage issues at all. You don't have to move it. It's easy peasy. So yes, you should start doing it right now because it's a double for some people. And
Not only
although
a
I think
double,
it
I
will
mean,
go lower.
we have, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we have a tremendous amount of our clientele bought just millions and millions of ounces in sub 20s, and then probably even more so in the low and mid 20s. And these people right now are looking at almost a 4x. And, you know, in a very short time.
4x in terms of the appreciation on the
Yep.
silver,
Correct.
but
double in
but
terms
not
of
a double
GSR.
in terms of the amount of
GSR.
gold that they could
Yep.
have bought back then.
Correct. But what we're looking at is, you know, as we always say, with the Bitcoin winners, what do you tell them to do?
Take it off the table.
Take some off the table and put it into something that's going to be a little less volatile, more of a conservative asset. There's nothing that we're not telling you that we haven't told you before.
Everyone
we love
knows
silver.
that. Everyone is waiting to do this trade.
Yeah,
so,
that's a-
you know, maybe start doing it before it becomes difficult.
Yeah,
to
and
do.
listen, you know, we're not saying do it all, but right now, I think it would be prudent to peel back a little bit of the onion, maybe do 20 up to 33%.
It's been falling fast too.
Yeah,
You notice
I know.
that? Like it went through the 60s
Oh.
really quick, and then went through the 50s really quick. And this is the law of averages.
That's it.
Regression to the mean. The further away and the longer period of time you stay away from long-term established averages, the greater the magneticism that regresses you or pulls you to the mean. And we've been here for too long. What you're beginning to witness is a repricing where metals are beginning to actually have some semblance of reality of their real value and demand when physical delivery demands are able to run headlong into a paper scheme of rehypothecation and of, you know, paper pricing where no one ever stood for delivery. It's Bernie Madoff, right? Everyone loved the checks they got monthly from Bernie until someone said, I need my principal back. And then they said it, and then they said
That's
it. And
it.
then all of a sudden, bang, the whole thing blows up. Well, that seems like where we are right now. It really does. And as I said on Dunnigan's show today, beware of the guy that says this time is different, but honest to God, it does feel different. Actually, I said that on my interview with Peter Spina today because he was commenting on a tweet he made saying it feels different in silver equities. I said, but the whole thing feels different to me right now, like very different. In particular, the strength of the market that is able to withstand all of the attacks that used to kneecap it. Now it comes back laughing, stronger, you know, and today's proof positive of just that.
All right, let's get to another couple of questions here. We have Hollywood RPI 69. We wants to know how many American Silver Eagle Monster Box are available, and in what time frame on delivery.
Well, I just bought 90,000 of them. Ouch, my shoulder. I bought 90,000 of them out of my shoulder. Clicks sometimes. It gets
This is
locked
in New
up.
York.
No, it's in Salt Lake.
Oh.
I bought 90,000 of them out of our Brinks facility, and I think it got picked up today.
Okay.
And it's coming back to.
It'll take some time, and we have a lot of orders.
26 is coming in too.
Yeah, and we
coming
still
in.
do have from one of our other distribution channels. We do still have sealed strapped monsters available, very reasonably priced relative to some of the other competitors out there. So
all
yeah,
of
you can
ours
call.
are,
Oh,
I think.
100%.
But we have them. Now here's part of the way that this business works. So we have this big Brinks facilities with about $1.5 billion worth of customer metal stored between Miami, Salt Lake, Dallas, Los Angeles, New York, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver. And one client, very large client, sold some, and we bought them. They have to be picked up by Brinks truck out of the facility. Well, they get loaded onto a Brinks truck, and that drives to our warehouse in the Midwest. And that's happening right now. Comes in, gets checked in, on top of the myriad of other tasks that our incoming, operations has to deal with. They get checked in, and then we've already been selling them. They're going to get allocated out, but everything is a little slower right now. There is no funny business. It's just volume, and you can't bring in a whole bunch of new people like Kevin was saying. You just can't. I mean, trust is everything, and you get the wrong person in one of these facilities who tells the wrong person, and well, someone's going to get shot.
It's a problem. Yeah. So let's bring up, because, we love talking about our new favorite AI Asian guy. I mean, what would be an episode right now without bringing him in? At Patrick Ruvolo, 8427, wants to know if there's any truth to the rumor by, hey, what do you know, the AI Asian guy, that Mexico is cutting off all silver exports to the United States.
I don't know if there's any truth to it, but it wouldn't surprise me if we start to get really nasty with Mexico. I mean, Trump warned Mexico right after, going into Venezuela, and said, Cuba and Mexico. Did he say Peru too? Who was the third? No, it was Colombia. He said, you guys are next if you don't clean up your act. Tariffs on our allies to the south. I don't think our relations are that great. And I think you're going to get into a period of time where these countries will say, what the hell are we selling it to the rest of the world for? If they think it's so important to be strategic, why don't we keep it ourselves? And you will see nationalization. I think the same thing is true of the mints around the world, like Perth Mint and the Rand Mint in South Africa, Perth in Australia, UK. Why are we sending this to North America, to investors in the United States? Why don't we keep it for ourselves or for our own people? I think you'll see that. But I don't know that to be true. A lot of what the Asian guy says, and there's several of them, seem to be conflated with supposition and rumor. There are a few things he said that I'll be very curious to see if they play out by the end of the month. But in general, I would take what he says, listen to it. Some of it's important. Make sure you're listen to the right AI guy, right Asian guy, because there's a bunch of them.
Yeah. He wears the same thing a lot.
Yeah, it's he last night I was watching it with my dad at his house, and he was identifying himself as being the original guy, and his name is Johnny, and he says he lives in New York, and he's in the.
That's where the server that he lives on.
Yeah, well, I mean, he who is behind it.
Right.
I don't know. I forgot the name of the channel, but there's like 50 of them.
Yeah.
So you don't know what to believe, who to believe.
No
but
idea.
I look, same thing with newsletters. People used to read newsletters. You read 10 of them, 15 of them, and take all the information in and formulate your own opinion as well. So the one thing I don't like about it is that, there is a certain level of stupidity in some of the AI, maybe not him, that are saying stupid things with outlandish claims, and they're doing it to monetize their channels.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
This is bothering me.
Okay.
This has come up a few times.
What does that say?
At Willich1339 says, Andy and Kevin want your silver so they can profit because it's hard to get. Don't buy the swap story.
Yeah, I mean, these are people who don't know us. I don't care. They're welcome to their opinion.
Listen, at the end of the day, everyone is, trust me.
I have 3 million ounces of silver in stock, by the way.
Yeah, we don't need your silver. This is a play where we have been talking about this philosophy, and this is not just Miles Franklin. This is actually a GSR trade that we've been talking about for years. And the fact that now the gold silver ratio has breached that 50 number, which is always the number for the most part that we've talked about. Andy always talks about the 200-year average being roughly in that mid 40 level. We are just being a little bit ahead of it. And I think it's because we've seen the rise so rapidly, and the volatility that we're seeing in silver now is far greater than I think most would have ever imagined, that I personally think it's very prudent, especially as Andy talks about, in your IRA. Many, many people have seen literally life-changing wealth. I'm talking life-changing wealth. I told you, I spoke to one of our clients, Randall, young guy, was great, set up, retired, hit a little hard patch. And then you know what? Ended up talking to him the other day, didn't even realize that his wealth and his worth had grown. When we spoke to him in Aruba, it was around 46, 48. He was thrilled to know the numbers then. He didn't even know yesterday.
Well,
that we were at 90.
I got a letter from a guy that said, you helped my mother achieve her life goals. She's 85. She always wanted to be a millionaire. She is. Look, if people don't know by now that I'm genuine, that I mean, I hate that. The only thing that pisses me off, truthfully, are when people question my motivation at this point in the game. I mean, would I stick my name and my neck out there? And I'm not an Asian AI guy with not showing my face, my name, my real name. It's like, I wouldn't do it after all of this time. For people to say that bothers me to no end. It's as stupid as someone saying, well, what if it's so valuable, why do you sell it? Well, let's see, I own a company that does it, but I've been buying it every 2 weeks for 36 years. And you will attest to that. You know that to be true.
100%.
Look, the motivation is simply this. I've been consistent in talking about this for 5 years, right? I'm not a Johnny come lately. And if I really wanted to steal your damn silver, I would say, you got to do it all right now before everyone else does. That's not what we're saying. We're saying be prudent. And why? Because at 100-to-1 ratio, if you bought silver and it's that now at 50-to-1, that means you could have bought twice the amount of gold back then or today than you could have back then and not spend any money. So the point is, when you are closer to 40, you should be in gold, arguably. When you are closer to 70, you should be in silver,
There you go.
arguably. Now, the one thing that I will say is that we don't know where this stops because silver is beginning to express itself. I'm not saying sell all of your silver, but ratios or the law of averages are there for a reason. And if you want to play the law of averages that go back a very long time, hundreds of years, that's what the ratio would say. Now, to his point, okay, if there is a valid point, maybe it's lost in translation when you say shit like that, but instead, I'm out. Okay.
Well,
let him go. So that's what chicken shits do. That's what chicken shits do. You're out. Goodbye.
Yeah,
See ya. I don't care.
My point
Chicken
to that
shits
was,
can't even have
as
a
much as we
conversation.
love the subscribers, as much as we
I
want to
could
grow our
give a
channel,
shit. I mean, goodbye.
I was just going to say to Ed
goodbye.
Willich, as much as we love having all new
It's chicken
people come,
shit, man. I'd like to debate the guy and watch
Yeah.
him fold like a cheap town.
don't need people like
It's
that
it's
on our
just
channel
Stupid.
because you clearly don't know or have not listened to Andy and known the person that he is and the business that we run. It's not what we do. We don't need this. This is what we've been talking about for years.
Tough guys behind a
Right.
keyboard don't have the courage to. I'll bring them on the stage right now.
Listen, Ed Willich, listen.
I mean,
God
if he
bless.
wants to come and show us how smart he is, I'll put him on right now. Yeah, do you want
If he wants to come on, let's get him on.
Yeah,
if he
I'm
wants
sure
to
he
come on,
won't
but
come
I'm
on.
sure he doesn't want to get
But
on.
the point of it is that
Nah, don't get yourself. Don't get yourself.
You know what?
I
It
know.
bothers
Listen,
the hell
I
out
get
of me.
it.
My
I get it.
motivation.
I get it. I understand.
Whatever.
I understand. Let's
Piss me off.
let's go on to the next one. At Cavalier 444 says, if we have a precious metals IRA, should we take delivery even we pay taxes and we're under 59 and a half years old penalty? It's 16,000 ounces silver. Can I trust SD Bullion Vault if Trump tries to confiscate silver? I mean, look, I guess I'll tackle this one at least to begin. I personally am not a believer that your silver is going to get confiscated. I think silver is a very difficult thing for them to confiscate, given the fact that it is not just a monetary metal, but also an industrial metal. So very difficult to differentiate whether or not it's being used for investment purposes or utility. We don't own enough of these metals to make it worthwhile for the government to come after.
How
That
old is
just
he?
it.
I mean, the question,
He's
how
sub-
old are you?
He's probably just under 60, 59 and a half.
Well, but 59 and a half is when there's no penalties. So,
Right, but he's got a penalty.
yeah.
Yeah, so now he'd have to pay on 16,000 ounces, right?
you're
That's
paying
1.6
10%.
million. He's paying $160,000
Yeah, you don't
in
wanna do
penalty. And then he's going to be certainly at the top bracket, 40% plus whatever the state
So
is.
what Kevin means by that is when you take a distribution, it's regular income, which all of the income that you make that year will then let's just say you're not in the top tax bracket. Well, this will put you there.
Correct.
So you take everything that you've made. Now you're going to be taxed at the 38 or 9% federal tax rate. Plus, if you're in a state that has income tax,
That's right.
If you're sub 59 and a half, you do it. If you have no choice, you feel that the walls are closing in and you would rather knowingly with open eyes do it. Otherwise, don't. It's a big pill to swallow. And SD Bullion, they're one of the good guys. I wouldn't worry about them absconding with your metal. But
I don't know what vault they're talking about.
they have
SD
their own
Bullion
vault. They do. in Michigan somewhere. But if you are ever concerned where you say, look, I'll pay the penalty, I just want it, you can do it.
And just rule of thumb, if you're ever talking about a potentially large tax bill and you're looking to take a distribution, I would always then say, and again, not financial advice, but what I would do if that were the case would be to take half in November. And I say not December because December happens to be an absolute shit show when it comes to IRAs, distributions, buybacks, and anything that goes on. It's the most frequented month where people are taking their required minimum distributions. Do half in November and then do half in January. That way it's split between 2 different tax years.
Yeah, good idea.
That's my 2 cents, which is worth probably a penny.
They don't make pennies anymore, so basically it's worth nothing.
Hoard the copper. Hoard the copper. At Run Silent, Run Deep 663 wants to know, can I send a 100-ounce silver bar into Miles Franklin for payout? The local LCS will no longer accept any generic silver. They sell it, but they are not buying any back. Yes, we will accept a 100-ounce silver bar. Give us a call or email us at info@milesfranklin. We will get you in touch with one of our very knowledgeable brokers. They will explain the process. They will get you out a Federal Express label after they lock you in, and you can ship it fully insured back into our facility. We will process it. It used to be roughly a 2-day process turnaround. We are not kind of holding to that any longer. Now it's roughly between, I think it's 3 and 10 days on processing time, and then we will send you out a wire.
Yep.
So that's the process. Oh, this is a good one. What do you think? We're watching it together. But what do you think? I know who I'm going with.
I mean, I'm a Big Ten guy, but I live in Florida, so I know who Sean's going
Well,
with.
that I do too, but wait, so you and I basically potentially on different sides right now? Are you going to take Miami?
There's something pretty. No, I mean, I wouldn't. I'm a Indiana. I think just because I'm a Big Ten guy.
I'm going to lay. I'm going to lay the points.
I went to Minnesota. My daughter's at Penn State. Another one went to Madison. I don't know. It's hard for me.
Preaching to the choir.
And my son in Michigan.
Yeah, but with Michigan, we don't.
Look, Indiana, this kid came out of nowhere, the quarterback, and Indiana's never been a football team. They're a basketball team. I don't know. You taking Miami?
No, I'm not. I'm telling you that I think it probably could be the greatest Cinderella story, that Indiana was nowhere on the map.
I'm excited.
Nowhere on the map. And all of a sudden, in 2025, 2026 season, out of nowhere, blossomed like a beanstalk, and just trounced anything and everything that came their way.
Yeah.
And now they're going to the big dance. I think that
I will tell you that the
Indiana.
front four of Miami is as impressive as any I've seen in a long time.
Tonight's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a great game. I think that I know that you're not one to go out on a limb with predictions.
Indiana as a Sunday. I'll take it on the money line. I'll take Indiana straight up.
Well, me too.
Just simply because they're in the Cinderella.
Yeah. All right. So let's go on. That was.
Lots of questions.
We have what?
We have lots of
I know, and we have lots of questions, but not a lot of time. Correct.
Well, let's just keep going.
All right. All right.
Fast.
Are the banks cracking down, allowing us to wire money to bullion companies? They are definitely cracking down. We are seeing a lot more trouble with banks allowing wires. That's why lately I have been recommending to clients to do the ACH payments. ACH payments are much more difficult for the banks to stop on. And the reason being is when you go in to do a wire, you're assuming that the bank has that money there to wire out. Very often, more often than not, unfortunately, they do not, which is why it will go to a review status that they'll have to send you home and back the next day, or perhaps the day after. By that time, you're already 3 days into an ACH. Right now, if they give you trouble on day one, go with the ACH method, bank routing number and account number, and you'll be all set.
Find a new bank.
Yes. If there are any that we can actually really trust.
Rick Rule's Battle Bank will be a good one.
Well, we need to find out, by the way. It's another question I'm getting bombarded with is, when is Battle going to be up and running? I know it's Q1 this year.
I'll see him this week in Vancouver. I'll ask him.
At A La Rose wants to know, do we offer storage? We sure do. We have several facilities, both the United States and Canada. We have available Dallas, Salt Lake, New York, LA. We also have Montreal, Vancouver, and Toronto.
Yeah, and in some cases, Miami.
Yeah, and some cases, limited. But yes, we do offer it. Please, again, info@milesfranklin.com. John will get you in touch with one of our intelligent brokers, and they will let you know. We already talked about what your thoughts are on the AI aging guy. Okay, here, how about this? Bluebird Hill, one. Talk to us about the DXY. It's been sitting at 99 for a long time. Past year range was 96.22 to 109.88. It doesn't look like it's devaluing in terms of DXY.
Which is even more important to understand that you have a strong dollar and gold's going higher in the face of it. The dollar index is a bunch of horse crap.
Explain what the DXY though is.
The Dixie is a basket of currencies.
Right.
The dollar, the euro, the pound, the yen.
It's strong against a weaker currency is what it's really doing.
Right, but Triffin's dilemma, we've talked a lot about that, where in essence, countries need over time to sell their currency in the open market to buy ours. We cannot provide the world enough of dollars just through trade alone. So over time, the constant selling of their currency to buy dollars to transact global business, and it may not happen in the big countries as much, but in general, what this does is it hollows out, well, manufacturing, but it hollows out manufacturing because over time, their currency becomes so much weaker than ours. So if we're measuring our currency against a basket of currencies that continuously devalue against the dollar, is that really a good thing to measure it against? Case in point, it was down like 9% against the gold. The dollar was down 9% against the Dixie, largely the euro this year. But it was down 150% against silver and 70% against gold. What is the real barometer? Gold, to me, is the best barometer to measure. And we've done that thing with the house price, where in the last 25 years, your house has doubled in dollar terms. Yet, if you had used and had the exact same amount of gold 25 years ago, it's gone up fivefold against your house. So you buy 5 houses with the same stash of gold you could have bought it with 25 years ago, but your house price doubled in dollar terms. So in other words,
difference between
prices are falling in gold and going way up in dollars.
That's purchasing power. That's the power of the purchasing power that the metals offer you.
Without paying interest.
That's right. This is a good one. What signals, Andy, will there be when we're reaching a top in silver?
The Uber driver talking about it, the gardener, the bartender, people who have never even thought about it.
I'll tell you, I know what my barometer is.
But I don't know. Will we have a top in silver?
Know.
It's an asset that's depleting, that has massive plurality in uses from.
You okay?
Yeah. From military.
I caught that, by the way.
Well, I hit the chair.
I know, but that's generally.
No, I didn't do that. You did that the other day.
I did do that the other day.
I don't know. I mean, it's a weird question to ask.
I know the answer.
Oh, you do?
I do.
What is it?
When my father-in-law calls me and says, "I want to buy silver," we're at the top.
Shame on that man.
But that's the case.
He's smart. He was a bond trader. He ran a brokerage. He's smart as shit. And he should know better.
He should.
And he watches these videos.
I know.
Barry, what are you doing, brother?
I hope you watch it tonight, Big Bear, and place your order for silver, because then we know well, if it's tonight,
then
you're
I'll
not at
come
the top.
on emergency sell.
We might have him on to get his take on why he's so adverse.
I promised Adam Taggart, and I mean this, that I would tell him when I thought it was time to sell.
Of course.
But I don't know when it will be. I don't.
Listen,
not right now anyway.
I will honestly say this. I say that I think that it is so rare. We're not talking about NVIDIA. We're not talking about Amazon. We're not talking about an equity where they can issue more stock anytime they damn well please. They want to raise more money, they issue more stock. This is the one thing that I attribute the likes of Bitcoin and the major cryptocurrencies that at least have caps, and really Bitcoin is the only one that does. There is no more of it. And there is only a certain amount of silver and gold, for that matter, in the world. And again, I can't stress enough, the low-hanging fruit with silver has already been gone. That's done. They've mined the low-hanging fruit. A majority of the silver that we get today is a byproduct of other mining. And we can't increase that production.
Majority of 80% of it.
Right. But we can't increase the copper and all the other metals that we are mining from to get silver to get more silver.
Nor do they have a profit motive of
doing so.
Of doing so.
Right.
That's right.
So, you can only get what you can get.
That's why that guy said, "Be careful," because we're trying to get your silver from you.
Right. We're not.
Piss me off. Still thinking about
I
that.
know,
By the way, it
but
really bothers me.
find
Man.
listen, listen.
It does.
Idiots are going to be idiots.
This
you know.
bothers me. Like,
Listen,
I mean,
haters are going to hate. Bottom.
right,
Listen,
whatever.
how many people right now are looking at us at the club where we've been not preaching our gospel, but when people ask and we talk about, when people were talking about when Palantir was going from 12 to 80, and they're like, yeah, and silver's sitting there doing 22. Well, now silver's at 95, and your Palantir's still holding its own. But the majority of equities out there, this was an A. What do you always say about silver? That it was what? An A. Asymmetrical
Low
trade.
downside, high up.
Very little. Asymmetrical trade. We've been pounding the table on this for so long, the same way as we were pounding on platinum at 800. These are a lot of these were just gimmies. It was just a matter of time. It wasn't a matter of if, just when.
I just
And
got
we're in the
20
win.
platinum eagles from my dad yesterday. Wanted to get rid of them. I was like, "Thank you, I'll take them."
I need 4.
Yeah,
I need 4 to fill up my tube. A higher premium, I guess, is costing me.
Oh, big premium.
Yeah, we don't have any.
Huge.
We have none.
Or
We
as
are
they
out.
say in New York,
Huge, enormous. Oh, speaking of which, haven't made platinum eagles since when? Like 2022.
Something like that.
Yeah, and when they made them, it was only around 37,000.
They're not
Very,
making
very
any
low.
this year. I don't think.
Yeah. So here we go. Again, we're having these questions answered. Do you think the U.S. Mint's new minimum price of $169 for silver eagles may have been made with insight in the upcoming silver price floor? The U.S. silver eagles, the commercial strike coins, are not $169. Those are
But
not.
they
the
might
ones.
be there soon.
Listen, right now we're right now roughly at about $104.
What is that? What's the person? Larry is the name? Larry,
Larry.
go back and watch at the beginning of this. We addressed that.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Kentucky Cowboy 76.60. Rumor is the price goes above 96 per ounce. Close out for the week, month will kill the shorts. Silver future COMEX, US dollars. He's showing what our pricing is right now at 94.28. Listen, that's somebody knocking at the door. It's the shorts that they really want their pants back, because right now they have none. They're getting killed. Bottom line is there's no question about it. And I think right now people are going to wake up tomorrow morning. They're going to see the futures trading and they're going to say, oh my God.
You know what's crazy? When people ask us where will it go when it broke through 50, and I cited technical analysis where you take
96.
the top of the cup and the bottom of the cup. Top in 1980, bottom in the early 90s was a difference of $46. You add it to the breakout when the handle comes up. 50 plus 46 is 96. Do you think there's any coincidence there? You take the price of gold at 40. What is it right now? Gold is.
Are we going conspiracy theory like with the pyramids again?
No, but that's a good one.
The pyramid one?
Yeah, that's almost 40. Could that really say what I think it just said? Gold right now is 46.70. Wow, it's almost $4,700. So you take 46.70 and you divide it by what do we say silver was? 94-ish. Divided by 94. Oops, I did that wrong.
I knew he was going to screw that up.
46.70 divided by, what did I say, 94? Yeah, that's 50 to 1. Wow. I mean, it's 49 to 1.
Yeah, it's 49 to 1. It's 49 to 1.
But I anyways, don't know why I even said that. But the point of it is that that's where technical analysis was pointing us towards.
Yeah. And by the way,
where does it go after that? I don't know.
We'll have to get Johnny Bravo on again and see what he said. You saw that I hit you up the
Johnny
other day.
Bravo
He had you on.
I listened to Johnny last night. He is saying that it's technically in line for a pullback. Technically,
but he's not getting in the way of it.
But he still says own the real thing if you're trading it.
Yes.
But again, is he? I don't know. He's purely technical, and this is a market where technical analysis, I would argue, is flawed.
I agree.
When it's finally been set free from its shackles.
Yeah, and not only that, but he also says you take your profits and you buy assets. So yes, I agree. He might trade the papers, but I think he takes the profits.
He said that today. Buy assets, buy assets, buy assets.
That's it. So
that is the Cantillon effect. That's why the people with assets have become exponentially more wealthy.
Correct. So
over
all
the
right.
last several years.
Henry Morgan 3982 wants to know: is there anything you don't own, Andy? LOL.
I don't know I don't own really any stock other than mining shares.
And your 401k.
Oh, I do own some in the 401k, which I really, I don't like it, but
What about palladium? You don't know a lot of palladium?
I have 1 ounce. I used to have a bunch of palladium maple leafs and I sold them.
What do you think the amount of business percentage-wise we do in palladium on an annual basis? Less than 1%.
Less than $1 million for sure. Way less.
So less than 1%.
Yeah.
By far. Yeah. Okay. I don't own any palladium. I don't think
Well,
I
that would
own
be
platinum.
we did over 900 million in sales this year. So
well, that's a
it'd be
huge
way
congratulations, no matter what.
it'll be way less in that
yeah.
case.
No doubt. All right.
Oh, it wouldn't be. It would be 1%. No, yeah. No.
100 million. I don't think we did. I don't think that we, I would almost guarantee you
a couple 100,000.
We haven't even done close to $1 million in
I bet
palladium.
you're right. I haven't sold any in a long time.
Yeah. So Groot Williams wants to know: should we anticipate a massive wealth transfer? Stackers getting rich. I think that we're listen. I mean,
stackers are getting rich.
I will tell you this: if you bought in the 20s now, and you put a fair amount in it, you have grown.
You put 100,000 in, you're at worth $1 million right now.
That's it. Well, no, you put 100,000 in
the
silver.
20s.
Yeah, it's worth 4 times. It's worth 400.
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry, 200.
But if you put $250,000 in, you're worth $1 million.
Yeah,
every $250,000.
Well, I mean, it was
$18
$18.
Right,
it was $18.
Right.
I remember.
Then it was worth right now almost 5 times.
Yeah. So
Randall, you know what I'm talking about, Randall. You bought it so right, and you did great by your wife, your kids, your family, and God bless you.
I had a lot of people that I switched a lot from gold to silver.
Same.
And it stayed elevated for a long time, and gold really gained ground, and these people would send me messages like, are you sure I think we made the wrong decision, and they were pissed and angry, and now I'm getting a bunch of, dude, I'm so sorry I gave you shit about that. You were right. But it took a long time, and I think that I would err on the side of historical averages anytime.
Well, I don't even know if I told you this, but I had a Zoom meeting with a very, very good client of ours. That
parole officer?
No, that's Tuesday. I had a very, very good call with a Zoom call. It was about the beginning of the swap discussion, and Jeff, Christy, I hope you're watching. We had a Zoom call.
Did you wear a vest for the Zoom call?
I think I was wearing. I think I was. And I was wearing also the new shirt that I got you.
Nice. Oh, nice.
But the crux of the call was this guy really went out on a limb. He listened to you, he and his wife. He is a private pilot for a very, very large Fortune 500 company, and didn't believe in any of the bullshit that the financial advisors and financial planners were telling him. And they took a big lump out of their savings, namely about $750,000 thereabout, and wrote it all.
$3-4 million.
Wrote it all in silver, and then put another $200,000 or thereabouts in silver for their home keeping.
So they should take some of that profit, put it in gold. That's how you
mitigate a little bit of risk, number one, from something.
I mean, they'll move in harmony together, but silver went up faster percentage-wise or more percentage-wise. I think it could come down faster percentage-wise, even though ultimately it may go a whole hell of a lot higher.
The thing that was most just eye-opening is that he said when he went to the financial planner and told him that he did this, that he put $750,000. Financial planner basically said, like,
you're an idiot.
Yeah, you're out of your mind. Like, you're gonna regret this. And by the way, they owe a huge debt of gratitude to you.
No, they don't.
I'm telling you, this is words out of their mouth. And,
I appreciate that. I do. I mean, I can say these things. People have to pull the trigger themselves.
Yeah, you can lead a horse to water, no doubt about it.
Everyone, with the exception of my father and my family, including at some points my wife, my friends, I don't think they feel that way anymore, but a lot of them question me and my.
I have a question.
Yeah, a little bit.
I questioned it another way.
He used to tell me to sell it. Sell it already. Sell it.
Well, because I wanted to buy things.
Yeah, you wanted to buy things. That's right. Well, anyways, the point of it is that I am less religious and very spiritual, and it's weird to even say this. I don't mean to sound woo-woo, but there's been something within me that has told me this is the right thing to do, and I've known it with peace in my heart forever, and I can't explain it. And I do know that we're nowhere near the top where this is ultimately going, but you know, and it's a very heavy burden to carry when people say this stuff to you. Like I get a call all the time. You know, I'm a single widow. This is all I have to my name. What do I do? And it's very difficult. It's heavy. You know, what goes around comes around in life, and you need to make sure that you try and do the best for people. And even if you try, not everyone succeeds, right? I appreciate the kind remarks. I do, and it's certainly nice to be on this side of it.
Do you know how to put something up on the screen? Because somebody sent me this meme, and I really would love to
Yes.
show it. I'm gonna email it to you, and you can throw it up, or how do I do it?
Can you
Can I put the question up?
send it to her because
Yeah.
she can do it? Because I don't have email on that
Okay.
computer.
Do you know how to do it? Put something up.
I'll try.
Okay. I'm
Can
gonna,
I just put a question up that
Yeah.
someone keeps asking?
sure.
Send it to media at Mild Springfield.
Our legend, Andy, does
Can you read
default cause a financial crisis and
Can you
do?
put your glasses on? And
Okay, let me read it. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
You are a legend, Andy. Well, God bless you. Does default cause a financial crisis, and do commodities sell off with everything, assuming there is a domino of margin calls? Thank you, my man. Yeah, it would cause a financial crisis, a big one, because these banks, those that are shorting the metal, they don't just short metal. I mean, they have, you know, these big commercial banks are involved in everything from interest rates to Forex to equities to commodities. And everything is very systemically connected. This is kind of the concept of the great taking, rehypothecated, systemically connected. This is the theory of Tom Luongo, where a smart man, where he is more or less implying that the US banks are net long now, flip-flopped, leaving the European banks exposed to this type of carnage. And his theory is that Trump is furious at the European aristocrats. It is his belief that Trump thinks that, and I don't know exactly where he got his evidence, but he's a very smart dude, and he believes that Trump thinks that there was election interference and color revolution that started by the European aristocrats that are the big European banks, and they're the ones exposed. So you get a bank like UBS that would collapse, and it would bring down many others with it systemically. So yes, it could very well do that. Assuming there would be a domino of margin calls, and it would happen so fast it would just blow up the whole system. So good question. And this is why it's better to have physical possession and stay out of the way of margin, of leverage. Don't ever buy gold on margin if you can avoid it, and just take physical possession of it, and you can stay out of that carnage.
Great. We have it ready to go here, Jana.
Yep.
So this is a meme that one of my clients sent me, and I got to tell you, it's absolutely true. Let me take this down. So when I was buying silver hand over fist every single 2 weeks, no matter what, which I still have been doing, my wife,
familiar,
my wife kept screaming
That's
at me.
me and my wife,
Yeah.
I think.
That my wife kept screaming at me, this is your goddamn silver, another package of silver every 2 weeks, this and that. Now, well, that one says 79. Now at 95, oh, she's hugging.
She's got her
She's
top
hugging.
off in that one. And 95.
Yeah, he's taller than I am,
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, this is the perfect example of the non-believers to then the believers.
Right.
That's really what it is.
Right.
So, but I thought that was good. You can take it down now. Zach. Keep sending those to me, guys. And whatever you got, send them. I love those. All right, I think we have time for a few more. I know.
Start 120.
I know. We're let me just go through and see what we can get.
I think we
here.
should do a Twitter space where we can talk to people too.
I agree. You want to do that? You want to do a Twitter space? Oh, you know what would be a,
This is on X. There's no such thing as Twitter.
Oh,
yeah,
X
space. You know what I think
sorry.
maybe
This video is on X right now.
No, but in the
no, but on
spaces,
an
you
X
can
space
talk.
you get to do
934 people in the space right now.
Oh,
yeah, but we can't hear them. They can't like call in like they can on an X space.
Right.
which makes it. Remember, we did that once early on. We did a Twitter space when it
I
was
used
still
to do
Twitter.
with Chris Irons,
Right.
the Raven. Everyone should check him out. He's awesome.
I think that maybe we should do a. Maybe what we do is we do our podcast and then go home, have some dinner, and then we just do a Twitter space later on that night for an hour or something. Maybe
Twitter and tequila.
Twitter and tequila. I like it. We could do that.
Okay, X and
We don't have to. Why can't we still call Twitter and tequila? Because then if we did X and X, then we're not probably going to be in our right mind. You know what I mean?
I love you, man.
I love you, man.
Love you.
Yeah,
That's all
X
we'd
and X,
say.
right? When we go, let's go to the sphere and do it again.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to
That's good.
why we're here, business.
Couple more.
Okay.
We'll go to 6:30.
Ryan
10 more
McDonald,
minutes.
7129. What happens when physicals start failing to deliver? They mean like us failing to deliver to clients? Is that what he's referring to?
I'm not sure. I mean, on the exchange, that is what a failure to deliver is.
Yeah.
I think what could happen in theory, a company like ours places a huge order from a sovereign mint. We pay for it. They take our money, and then 6 months later or 6 weeks later, they ship us back our money and say, sorry, can't do it.
Yeah.
That could happen.
Yeah.
That could.
Hawaii Volcano Squad 3322 says, huh?
Peter the volcano?
It could be he's erupting,
Yeah.
and well, he's definitely erupting. Why has silver price moved on Martin Luther King Day when markets are closed? Looking at the Kitco chart, so yes, the markets are closed, but the futures market was open last night at 6 p.m. That's what we saw.
I think that the COMEX was open limited today, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, because we're locked right now, and I believe that we'll reopen later on this evening. I believe it's going to be. It's actually
in.
Yeah, is it 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock.
No, it's closed. It says
reopens what?
22 hours. How can that? Yeah, reopen.
Can't be 22 hours from now.
It does 22 hours and 39 minutes. It says.
How's
Oh,
that
sorry. The spot market is open. It closes in 22 hours. It's open right now. It's up
Yeah.
70 cents on gold and flat.
Yeah,
on
I see it
silver.
trading. Yeah, I see it. We're trading. We're trading again. So yeah, we're open. It's very often when we have U.S. banking holidays, it doesn't necessarily reflect.
By the way, those
On
are
the
the days
futures
they
market.
used to beat the crap out of it because
Yep.
there was no New York liquidity.
100%. Not
That didn't
anymore.
happen today,
Not
did
anymore. All right. I get this question a lot. And at Doug Who wants to know, do you have any recommendations for stocks, mining or ETFs that are good investments, or would you only obtain physical?
I would put some money in mining shares. I'm not a financial advisor, but I
Not
would
financial
say,
advice.
I would say the royalty stocks like Royal Gold, Freeport McMoran, Silver Wheaton. I think they changed their name to Wheaton Precious Metals.
What do we think
I
of
like the
First
big-
Majestic?
I love First Majestic. Keith Neumeyer, Pan American Silver is a big one. What's it called? Hecla Mining, Newmont. The biggies.
I think I got the new shirt. Keith Neumeyer pretty much was the coin of triple digit silver.
Yeah,
I think once we get to triple digit silver,
precious metal head.
well, yeah, that's definitely a good thing. We're going to come up with something good for that. But I think we go to quad silver. I think we got to go to 4-digit silver,
Quad silver.
$1,000 silver. I think that's what we got to do,
All right.
and that way you can beat Keith to it. All right, here we go. Johnny Red 8902. Do you still think junk silver is the better buy?
Yes.
And I guess you're asking better buy between that
Anything.
and the 3 non-purity silver.
Yes,
it's
I
the
do.
best value in silver that's currently
Yes.
out there. We still do have it in stock. I believe we still have it in stock.
99 cents on $0.50, I think, is a special now.
I think we launched that today. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we were at $1.50, and I think we just did a special on it today. Somebody wants to know, because you are going to Vancouver this weekend, or next weekend. Which one are you going? You going Friday?
Saturday.
You're going Saturday.
With
Right.
Frank Guda.
Andy, I've been trying to find footage of you sharing the stage with Gustra in Vancouver last year. They
Yeah.
seem to have scrubbed the internet of that.
I don't know. Was there?
Yeah.
We got into a little tiff, he and I.
Well, you also got into a little bit of travel issue.
Yeah, I did. But he and I got into a little tiff.
Yeah.
It was a respectful one. And I was basically saying, my idea is to, unite the Bitcoin community and the precious metals community, even though, I think that we see the world in somewhat the same way. One wants to profit, however, and the other preserve. So it's like Reese's peanut butter cup, the two together are better than separate. And he starts going nuts on me about Bitcoin and how stupid it was. And I said, Frank, I own a precious metals company, man. You do realize that, don't you? And I was just trying to be the voice of reason, you know. I mean, there are people in the audience there, and like Mark Moss and Natalie Burnell, who are very smart people, who are Bitcoin people, and I just try to be respectful. And anyways, turned out a little tiffy, but he and I are good.
All right. Well, at Heartland Mechanic says, y'all need to go on another vacation. We need a huge price increase. At Heartland Mechanic, we've had a huge increase.
Mm-hmm.
From the time that we were in Aruba, we were at around 46.
Were we in Aruba? I just remember being in a hotel room.
Well, that's true. It just happened to be in Aruba.
Oh.
And I was also in the Dominican Republic, or at least they told me I was in the
When
Dominican
you left,
Republic.
I said Aruba 2.0,
And
and I
I
had
said-
this big smile on
I
my
said,
face.
no way.
No
And you know
way.
what? I called you 2 days later and I said, this is worse than Aruba
Yeah,
2.0.
I love that.
This is like Aruba 3X.
Yeah.
It was bad. But now we're at 95. So yeah, we've made a huge
I mean,
move.
when you came here a couple of years ago, and if I would have told you that silver will get to 95 by 2026, beginning of, and you were here at 18, what would you have said? No.
Of course. And I would have said, I mean, look, at that point, I would have also probably would have bought not an ounce of gold. I would have just only bought silver. I mean, bottom line is, but as I've been doing.
Had you known, you would have mortgaged the bank and got 5x on your money.
Listen, I just.
But it's
you
just
know,
beginning.
I know, but I owe you.
You owe me
not
nothing.
to get sentimental. And
you can get sentimental. but you owe me
I
nothing.
do. I owe you a huge debt of gratitude for
Huge.
instilling huge into me, the same as your father did you, because those commitments that I made to you, that you made to your father, as you know, because
Changed
you
your
know how
life.
much it has been
I see it.
I mean, literally, I had like chills from it when I look and I see it has been a life changer. I thank you. My wife thanks you. My family
I
thanks
love
you.
you all, and the pleasure is mine. You
I
had
mean,
to
look,
pull the trigger.
It's I mean, look, you know as well as anyone that I love doing what I do. I wake up, I live, eat, breathe, excuse the language, shit this business. Even there is no such thing as a weekend. There is no such thing as nights. I had a client call me at 5:15 the other morning. Please don't do that again.
Call him at 4:15.
No, huge problems with the wife. Just to let you know, rule of thumb, no good phone calls ever come before 7:30. So let's use that as kind of the barometer to not call us before 7:30 hour.
I was going to say
frame.
7:30.
Yeah, that's my time frame, East Coast
European
time. I know, but I get Hawaiians that are calling me, and it's just not good. And then my
What's
wife.
your problem with Hawaiians?
Nothing,
That's
except
not cool.
they're 8 hours behind us.
Oh.
So when it's their night, it's, hey, honey, I want a Monster Box. Forgot that it's 4 a.m. in Florida.
That's all right.
Yeah, well, listen. Bottom line is, I owe you a
God bless you. I
so
love you.
thank
You're
you.
all good.
3
more minutes,
all
and
right.
then we must go.
It's
been I've been here for now 11 hours.
All right. At Mom Computer 6461 says, Andy, what are the chances of you having silver in stock for us after the RV?
Well, if the RV happens, and
If and when, yeah.
We
will do our best.
Out in a real
we
fast
we will do our best. But
there are a lot of people who say that when that happens, if it happens, that they will take their money and
This is the best.
immediately apply it towards metals, and that would go quickly.
Okay. You got one up, Jonna?
This is so cute.
Okay. At TMB 2757, I don't do drugs, never have, but at Miles Franklin Media is like my long distance drug lord who teases me with the stash. Can't get enough. Ha ha ha. Well, listen, we love to hear that. Yeah, listen.
Just a taste. Just
just
a little taste.
Just a little bit. I was going to say something.
Yeah,
Well, you know what I was going to say.
Every guy knows
Yeah,
what you're going to say.
exactly.
I said that to someone I care about, and that someone says, "Oh, I've played that before." Not the answer I was looking for.
I think that this is referring to me, and I'm not really sure. Charles Anderson says, "Does anyone else think this Miles guy looks a bit like Whoopi Goldberg? Do you see it? Be serious. Is it me or you that they're talking about?" I mean, I could point out one really obvious distinction right now. We're both men. We're both. I mean, for the most part. What?
Whoopi is one of the most disgusting, despicable
What do you mean?
human
We don't
beings
know
I
if Whoopi's a man or woman.
I mean, do you know? I don't know.
No, but I know that he and I are both Caucasian. I have short hair. I don't have
You are
dreads.
kinda- you are
I'm
very-
on the darker side.
Someone said,
Oh God.
Walter.
"I love
That-
you,
that-
man."
Are they confusing Walter Matthau with Whoopi Goldberg? Do you think that's the differential? I don't know. Whoopi, I've been called a lot of things. Maybe
Can we
Whoopi's the
call
worst.
HR? I think it's time for him to go. I'm going to bring Michelle in. And
By the way,
Oh,
I
wait,
didn't
speaking
even.
of, Michelle's coming. We're celebrating her birthday. We're gonna do a show and celebrate her birthday
in February.
February 9th.
Okay. What? Hold on a second. This doesn't make sense. So at Johnny Ready 902 says, I've been waiting for delivery for 6 months on an order, and now I have to come up with money for a lawyer to get my coins.
I don't think it's
That's not from us.
No, it's definitely not from us. And I will tell you this at Johnny Red 8902, I do have a feeling that I might know what you're referring to. If you would, and you're listening, send the send an email over to info@Miles Franklin, and put a note that Tattoo told you to send this to me, because I do have a feeling I know what this is about, and I think I can help you out with that. So
Clairvoyant you are.
yeah, I do. I think it's really
All right,
more
it's
so
now
about the IRAs.
6:31, and
All
I'm fading fast,
All
so
right,
let's do one more.
One more.
I'm sorry, you guys. It's been a long day.
All right, I'm going to end on this one because I've been asking you this.
Yes.
When is Miles Franklin going to do the Steal Your Face Silver Round? I think we should do it in honor of Bobby. We should have something.
See, I've
done.
always loved the Grateful. That's my computer right there.
But they
I've
can't
always,
see it.
Can they not see it?
No, but
and
you're gonna end up. Yeah,
they
know. But I don't. I think
I would love to do it.
Should.
I think there's probably some sort of a trademark thing. I don't know, but it would be cool to do it and then have them hand painted.
Would you? Well, we could probably work a license, but can you do a lightning? Can you just do the lightning bolt?
You got to do the Steal Your Face.
I know. It's such a good one,
especially if you made the coin in the shape of it.
If we did a Grateful Dead series,
how about like little bears?
That's what I'm saying. You do the dancing bears, you do the skeleton, you do the Steal Your Face. There's so many to do. It'd be such a good one.
I'm gonna look into that.
We should definitely do that. I think
you could be onto something, or maybe you're on something. You don't do drugs. Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. So hold on, let's get the calendar ready.
He doesn't even drink, is right, except unless
I'm
not there.
I did last night.
See, you're such a dick, man. Every time you drink, I'm not
there. He's been cursing a lot tonight. Cussing a lot.
Is that how they say it? I'm sorry. Minnesota? You know what? It's been a long day.
Let me ask a question.
I have a high level of testosterone.
You're going to be gone when? A week from today? Are you gone? Are you still in Vancouver?
Saturday to Tuesday.
And come back Tuesday.
Okay, so there's no show next week.
Nope.
Okay.
And then that next Friday is the member.
Oh, and then we go. So we're going to be. We might have to do one when we arrive in Colorado that night.
Right.
For a half hour, an hour.
And maybe we.
What about a Twitter space? Maybe that's a night that we can do a Twitter space. No. Okay. So we might be gone for 3 weeks. We might be off for 3 weeks. All right. Well, we'll update you when we know a little bit more about the scheduling, because there might be some conflict. Maybe we'll do next week on a Tuesday so that we won't be gone for so long.
We'll come back Tuesday.
So maybe we'll do it on a Wednesday.
And can you just also talk a little bit more about, like, before we end, like shipment dates?
Yeah. So let's just, I want to set expectations, I think is what you're referring to. So let's just try and temper expectations. I would love for everyone to just truly understand that we are in unprecedented territory here. We have never seen a influx of volume of orders that we have seen lately, both IRAs, non-IRAs, and we don't have minimums. So, we're trying to get every person's packages out as timely as we can. But as we mentioned, we can't just hire anybody. We have to really be diligent about who we bring into this company. We have to trust. Trust right now is a very difficult thing to come by. That's the biggest commodity. So trust us that we will get everything done for you. We are having as many people work, as many hours of overtime as we can to get these things out to you appropriately. properly, but we don't want to make mistakes at the same time. So just bear with us. We will likely be back next week, probably midweek instead of on Monday. Jana will be putting a link out at some point, maybe late this week or over the weekend or early next week, about when we will be going live with the live Q&A. But as always, I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Tell your friends, tell your family, share the love, smash that like button, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Be well.
Thank you.
And let me just move this out of here so I can't see anything. Okay.
Good job, Tattoo.
And end the stream.